hatred, the core principle when it comes to being a World of Warcraft player. Now, what the fuck do I mean by that? If you look at the online discourse, whether that's Reddit, Discord, the forums, any location, one version of the World of Warcraft player base absolutely despises the other. Classic players think a retail player is a dumbass, a shill, they're the reason the economy and everything is terrible. You know, oh my god, you guys swipe and buy WoW tokens and do this, and in the very same breath, the man's got G2G open and is buying gold. Then you have the retail players going, how could you play Classic? That's a terrible fucking game. Then you have the SOD players who are coping in the corner in the cuck chair. They're saying they're gonna do a SOD fresh. I promise they're gonna do a SOD fresh. Then you have the Era players going, Anniversary is impure. It is a false version of the glorious game. Even Era itself is impure and false. All of this is BS. And I'm only ever gonna play this particular game mode and nothing but this particular game mode. Fuck you, give me GDKPs. Now that I've covered most of it, I forgot MOP, and so did everybody else, but that's all the versions of World of Warcraft. And the major reason I bring this up is, hatred is a core philosophy of how the World of Warcraft online community partakes in engagement with each other. It's not a community of positivity. For the most part, the videos that get the most views are the ones shitting on things. You look at a Ballilar video. Does Ballilar saying the game is good get the most views? No, it's the video where he says the game is fucking dead and it's over. And then, 2 months later he goes, the game is great again, come back. And rinse and repeat. Look at Classic. What SOD videos got the most views? It wasn't the SOD videos saying, oh my god, SOD hype. It was the SOD video saying SOD is fucking dead. GG, the Classic devs suck. Look at Mr. Pandaria. What gets the most views? Guides. Just fucking guides. How to make gold, GDKP, this shit, that shit. Mops, no one really searches for Mr. Pandaria. Which brings me back to the initial point. There needs to be more positivity in this fucking community. There needs to be less negativity, less anger and frustration and vitriol across World of Warcraft, across the fucking board. Why is every type of engagement between the Classic, the retail, the SOD, Era, MOP player base, why is the loudest minority so angry all the fucking time? And I'm gonna give you the reason. Chronically Online, go outside and touch some fucking grass. Now, that's not to say Blizzard makes no issues here, don't get me wrong. Blizzard, retail WoW's in a good spot. Anniversary is doing fucking phenomenal. I was part of the Anniversary hater crowd initially, and I gotta be real, my hatred was exaggerated. I just didn't want to do leveling 1 to 60 and just do Molten Core through Nax again. Now that TBC is around the corner, I'm playing and having a good time. MOP? Dog shit. I'm gonna stand on that ground. Yes, the whole message of the video gets thrown out of a loop when I go bad game. It's not that MOP is bad. It's the first time WoW started declining. Going back there again the second time never made any sense. And I know, Classic no longer means vanilla through Wrath of the Lich King. It means every pre-version than modern retail. Which means Shadowlands Classic is a technical thing that could actually happen. And I hope it doesn't, but technically, it's Classic once you get to that point in time. So, let's dial it back. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, 2019. Let's go further back, 2017. Let's go further back, 2015. You think you do, but you don't. You all remember those key words there. When he was on stage, looked us dead in our eyes, and called us fucking stupid for wanting vanilla. Then in 2017, they announced vanilla. Then in 2019, they launched vanilla. Well, Classic. And then in 2021, they launched vanilla, Season of Mastery. Then in 2023, they launched a vanilla, that was SOD. Then in 2024, they launched vanilla. They've been launching a lot of fucking vanilla. I'm gonna be real. Now when you say it out loud like that, it's kinda, you think you do but you don't, into you thought you didn't, and now you kinda don't, but we're now gonna force feed you more vanilla while we work on Vanilla Plus. But you look back from the beginning, the Classic community back then, the private server crowd, etc., there were so many people disillusioned with retail that there was already a negative sentiment around retail. Legion was good, but then you had your BFA and your Shadowlands. Fuck that, terrible game, ruined the story, ruined this, dog shit writing, dog shit this, bad systems. And then everybody moved to vanilla, had an amazing time. Then all the allegations in the Cosby Suite happened. Everybody left. TBC stayed healthy, nobody really actually left. I think retail had player hemorrhage going to Final Fantasy XIV, but I don't think the Classic player base shifted even an iota. Then Wrath happened. And Wrath is where you start to see the cracks in the community start to form. At the end of ICC, Wrath effectively showcased that the community was done, the exact same way they were back in 2010. Once you finished Wrath of the Lich King, a lot of people who had come back for 2019, TBC, and then Wrath left again. And you see this in the current player base numbers. You see this in, if you go to Ironforge Pro or any of these websites, you see how much the player numbers have started tanking. Each consecutive version has less and less and less people. Not because the game's bad or worse, because they've already done it. There's nothing left for a lot of people to do. It's the same reason why retail WoW has so many people don't even raid anymore. They do delves, solo content, collection content. A lot of people are sick and tired of the rat race, the rigmarole of just logging in and doing BS. And you showcase this in the community itself, who takes their frustration of not having a future or an end game or a version of activity they want to do out on each other. Because it's easier to blame other players and the devs than blaming the way the game is played. Anniversary could be just as big and just as popular as 2019 Classic. The issue here is, it isn't played in even remotely the same manner or way. A lot of people playing Anniversary play it in the same way a retail player would play retail at the high end. Min-max, efficient, meta to the T. I'm not saying there aren't guilds you can't play casually with, but the average player, the economy of the server, all these things lead to the player base breaking apart, fragmenting even, and changing who they are, what they are, and how the game is played. For a lot of people, the charm of vanilla is the world and the journey and experiencing it. If you look at OG 2019, it took about 6 months for the game to really start having a decent amount of raiders. A lot of people were just playing for fun, leveling, enjoying themselves. There was no real super turbo sweatiness and this and that. People loved the game. They had an amazing time and they kept blasting. Whereas in Anniversary, from the get-go, that shit was going faster, more fast-paced, more efficient. You need to grind, farm, consumables. Black Lotus wasn't 25G at launch. It was like 300. I think it was peaked at 500 for a flask at one point. And the first couple of months before they enabled the Black Lotus changes. And you see other players look at this and start shitting on the Anniversary player base. Shitting on the Era player base. Shitting on them. Oh, you GDKP, Andes, you this, you that. So what do those players do? They take that hatred and they shove it right back at you. Sod's a dead game. Sod's not popular. Sod's this. Sod's the reason Anniversary is bad. Sod's the reason this. Sod shows you that you're all retail Andes. And retail players are in the corner like, we were there in Shadowlands. We were there in Shadowlands. I remember seeing all the retail players and streamers being mad as shit at Classic in 2021, 2020, 2019, because it made everyone like see how much I didn't like retail at the time. But that's BFA and Shadowlands' fault, not as much Midnight and the War Within's fault. So they experienced the exact same terrible situation that the Classic player base is in, but they did that back during Shadowlands and BFA. So they understand and they just don't care. They're like, we had our arc. We had our depression, our fuck everything, life was terrible, life was misery, and they moved on. But the Classic player base is now in that threshold where they all fucking hate each other. The amount of people that see shitting on MoP, extremely high. The amount of people that see shitting on Anniversary saying TBC waiting room, incredibly high. The amount of Anniversary players saying TBC is going to be dead in 3 weeks, incredibly high. The Era players, GDKP. The Sod players, there's like 17 of them. They're crying, they're begging in the corner. Please, Blizzard, acknowledge us. Blizzard Phase 9, I still have hope. Please, Blizzard, please. No, but like, jokes aside, it's just a really interesting situation across the board. The whole summary of this video was hatred, anger, frustration. And what's the solution? Well, there isn't one. This is internet discourse. This is internet 101. There is no walking away from this or fixing it. It's just simply how modern internet discourse will forever be. There has to be an in-group and an out-group. And the in-group is the more popular group. It's where the majority is. And the in-group and out-group can flop around. Sod was up here, Annie was down here. Now Sod's down here, and all the Classic plus whatever players are down here, and the Anniversary players are up here. When TBC launches and TBC goes up here, the Era crowd's going to be down here, the Classic crowd versus the TBC crowd. It's going to constantly and forever shift. When MoP was at his most popular, haha, see, MoP's the better game, MoP's the bigger game, you guys are dumb. Now that MoP is declining and dying slowly, all the Anniversary was like, told you so, you're dumb for having wanted MoP. It's simply what it is. Maybe someday the internet will get together and positivity will be what gets engagement, and the AI algorithm will stop serving up negativity, and negativity will go down the wayside in the drain, forgotten forever. But That is not the case because negativity and anger and hatred and vitriol gets 10 times the clicks and 10 times the engagements for every single niche across the board. Hype is incredibly, very, very good. But hype is not positivity. Hype is building something up to an unreasonable standard. Classic fucking plus. That's hype. Negativity is just being angry and mad. Positivity is in the middle. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It's not always great, right? It's just simply what it is. But hey, let me know in the comments down below. Why do you hate a particular version of the player base or a particular version of the game? I'm genuinely curious. But thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. If you hated it, understandable, dislike and subscribe. Be a dedicated hater. We don't half-ass hate on this channel. We full-ass it. Full send that shit. Evan Hart out. Peace.